Hi, I'm Ed. I'm a supported by here at Tiso. I walked the Hebridean Way, which is 156 miles from Vatersay all the way up to Stornoway with my dad. We've done a lot of long distance walks, me and my dad. It's something that we've done for quite a while. When we kind of started getting into hiking, we started off with the West Hebridean Way, and from there our love for long distance walks just continued. So the Hebridean Way covers 156 miles, 10 islands of the Outer Hebrides, 6 causeways, and you take 2 ferries on your trip. When it comes to planning, it's usually my dad's gig to do the planning, but there's obviously a lot involved when it comes to the Hebridean Way. It's a little bit different to just knowing when you're starting and knowing where you're ending, because you do have the kind of ferries in between. The islands are practically closed on a Sunday, which is obviously very different to the kind of city life here. We planned and kind of got ourselves sorted to how we're going to get through to Vatersay. And for us, that was a train from Glasgow to Oban, and then from Oban we then got the ferry across to Barra. We camped at Vatersay for the night, so we didn't want to rush off from Vatersay and kind of then push on. So we decided to start in Vatersay, which allows us to kind of, take in that moment before the walk started, which I think was really nice. I would definitely recommend it for anybody that's going to do the walk to actually take that night there. I think that we've now probably done around 8 long distance walks, but for this one, for some reason, I was a little bit nervous. I felt like I'd maybe not done enough training and kind of fitness, and this felt a little bit different when I was in Vatersay. I was like, we've got quite a long couple of days of walking, 156 miles. But when I started, I just felt so alive. I remember right at the very start in Vatersay, it was absolutely pouring down with rain. And I just turned to my dad and I was like, it's just so amazing to be in the rain. I was absolutely delighted just to be like outdoors and like to be on a long distance walk. So I think when it comes to a long distance walk in Scotland, something that's super essential is your Gore-Tex waterproofs. At the start of the walk, it was probably the wettest that it had been in the whole trail, so definitely kind of broke us into the weather and what was to come, which actually worked in our favour, because then the next few days it was then really good weather, it was sunny, so we went from pouring rain to then actually being sunburnt, which I think that's just the Hebridean weather. There's obviously so much that you're kind of looking forward to. There's the beaches, which is obviously a massive part of the Hebridean Way that is different to any other walk. You're taking in so much of the coast, which is phenomenal. It's just nice to kind of take off the boots, walk through the seaweed, walk in the water. It was a really warm day, and just being able to kind of like take that in, I think was pretty epic. When it comes to eating on the long distance walks, it's always a challenge. A typical breakfast for us on the trail was porridge, something that's really filling, kind of gets you set up for the day. When it came to lunch, what we done was we then had the kind of real turn-up meals, so that it allowed us a kind of bigger kind of meal throughout the day. 'Cause sometimes I think that when it gets to the end of the day, especially for me, that's the point where I'm flagging a little bit, I'm feeling a little bit tired, and usually it's the kind of last thing you want to do is sit and cook your food. Sometimes we would have our kind of bigger meal through the kind of day, and then later on in the evening maybe a kind of smaller snack. I carried a tub of Pringles from Hebrides, and it was the best decision ever. I think that kind of final day, we were really set for a kind of a challenge in itself. The end into Stornoway, it finishes up with 9 miles of road. That was obviously a challenge within itself, but I think that for both of us, the kind of spirits were high that day. The sun came out, it had been days of rain. The end is so epic when you kind of get there and you kind of touch that final way marker and you kind of get your photo and you think, I've completed it. I've done that walk, and I think that it's always a really sad point in getting to that end. You know that that's it. You're finished, and obviously the end is a huge highlight. But ultimately, I think that the whole trip, there's different parts that obviously make up those highlights, and it's probably not until you get home that you actually realise how epic each of these kind of long distance walks that we've ever done are. I think that obviously just looking back, it's obviously amazing to now say that I've walked the length of the Outer Hebrides, which is pretty special.